everyone, this is Faisal, certified high performance coach and a lifelong student of philosophy, spirituality, and sciences. Today is challenge day 18, and today's challenge topic is self-expression. Very crucial topic in our personal development. Before I go into the topic and questions, I want to take the time to thank all those who have been participating in these discussions, who have been liking and sharing the posts. I truly appreciate all the effort that you guys are putting into this, and I can guarantee you that it will have a effect on your life, a very positive effect on your life and in the lives of the people around you if you stay consistent with this. I encourage you guys to take the time to watch the videos if you haven't, even if you haven't yet, and try to see if you get any other ideas about the questions. And I know some of the videos have been long, but there are some points, some ideas that take longer to explain, and it's better that you know rather than you don't. So take the time and watch the videos, and take the time to answer the questions, because once you start answering questions related to your life, you'll start to come up with ideas how to make your life better. So once again, thank you very much for all the likes, shares, and comments. And make sure you like this video, make sure you share it, make sure you encourage others around you to participate in these life-changing discussions. So once again, today's topic is self-expression, and I have two very complicated questions for you guys. The first one, do you express who you are, what is important to you in life, and what you look forward to in life, to the people that you love, or to your friends and family around you? If the answer to that is yes, why do you do that, and how do you do that? That's why I said it's complicated. And if the answer to that question is no, why don't you express yourself, and how do you think you can express yourself? Go ahead and think about that question. I know it's a little complicated, but you'll know why I'm asking you this. And the second question is, do you have any creative way of expressing yourself? Any kind of creative expression, such as painting, drawing, I don't know, fixing cars, music, speaking, writing, poetry, whatever your photography, whatever your self-expression might be. Do you have any kind of hobbies or self-expressions, or something that you really love doing? I'll go into why that's so important in this video, but go ahead and answer that. And if the answer to that was yes, why do you express yourself creatively, and how do you do it? And if the answer is no, why don't you? Self-expression. The last topic we talked about was relationships, and there was one crucial thing I left out of the relationships on purpose, and that was communication, and that will play into this video. But let's talk about where this video is going to go. I asked you two questions, and both of these are related to two topics in self-expression. The first question is related to explicit self-expression, and the second is to creative self-expression. So, explicit self-expression. What do I mean by that? Before I even go into explicit, I'll talk about why is self-expression, and the reason why is self-expression so important. The reason self-expression is so important because, first of all, if you think about this philosophically, we have a body that is given to us, that we're blessed with, where we have different ways of expressing ourselves. We can move around, we can speak, we have a voice, we can dance, we can sing, we can jump, we can We can play sports. We can think. We have a mind to think with. We can come up with different ideas, different thoughts. If you think about philosophers, they come up with ideas and thoughts and solutions. We think about scientists. They do different things. Even science in itself is an art. But all those are ways of expressing yourself. Those are ways of expressing yourself through your mind, body, and emotions. And when it comes to why it's so important, it's important in itself because there's a reason why we've been given these abilities. It's there to use it, and most people forget that we have a voice to express ourselves with, we have a body to express ourselves with, we have a mind to think with and express our ideas and different ideas to express with. And we have emotions to express. All these become a part of who we are. And if we suppress them, then we suppress our existence here, our being here. And when we study happiness, one of the most important aspects of happiness is expressing yourself. And this is from positive psychology, where the people who express themselves more, they generally tend to be a little bit happier or even more happier than the people who don't. And then the other side of the spectrum, people who don't express themselves as often, especially to the people that are around them that they love, their close family and friends. Those people who feel stifled, who feel like they will be judged, or who feel like they can't speak up, or they fear that something will happen if they speak up. Guess what? That creates a lot of misery in their life. And that goes back to that natural concept that we have been given these things to express. So we have to find a way to express ourselves. So that's self-expression. And the first question that I asked you was related to explicit self-expression. And it was that, do you express yourself, do you express who you are, what is important to you, and what you look forward to in life on a consistent basis to your family and friends? And for me, this has been a journey. Most of my life, most of you don't know how I have been since my childhood up until my mid-20s. I've been a kind of person who has always been very reserved. So almost anything thought that I would have, any idea, any emotions, any feelings, I would keep it to myself. And I didn't even know that it was good for me to do that. Or in a lot of cases, I felt like I would be negatively judged. Or in other cases, I felt like I wouldn't be understood. And these are the fears that people have. But then when we think about this, if we don't express ourselves explicitly, and by explicit I mean very clearly, about who we are as a person, what is important to us in life, what are our dreams, what are some of the things that we love doing, what kind of activities do we like doing, what kind of relationships are important to us, and what do we look forward to in life, what are our dreams, what are our goals. These things become so crucial in life because and you will only know how important this is once you start expressing those things around you and in your within your circle of family and friends. And however much you express yourself right now, I can tell you that you don't express enough. Whether that comes to your ideas and thoughts or to your feelings, most people don't express themselves because they have these fears that stop them from expressing themselves. And the other day I was talking to somebody about how I have all these videos on YouTube. If I go back to that part of me that used to be scared, and that's still there. Everybody has those. I talked about observer and thinker, that ego side of me. If I allow that to take over, I'd be hiding underneath a pillow or running away somewhere because I have all these videos about me expressing myself. It's funny when I think about it, because when I started realizing how important it is to express myself, especially to the people that I love, to the people around me, I had to condition my mind to do it because I was not used to it. I didn't even know how to do it. So I would start with small things where I'd be like, oh, I like doing this. I love doing this. Oh, this is what I'm looking forward to. And it would be the oddest thing for me to just sit there and do that. But then over time, when I kept doing it, it started having an effect on me. I realized that, okay, I want to express myself more. I want to tell the people around me that I love, my friends and family, that this is what I want to do. This is what's important to me. This is what I'm looking forward to in life. And this becomes very, very important in our life, because once we start expressing ourselves, guess what? We start to get ideas about our life too, what we actually want. Because many times we think that if we think about thoughts, if we journal them, which is still good, that's really good to think about ideas in your life, think about what's important to you. That's a big aspect of your personal development. But unless you express it to people, you're not getting the other half of you're not tapping into the other half of yourself, because much of our ideas come from expressing ourselves. And that's my other secret, selfish reason why I do these videos, because when I'm expressing myself to you guys, I'm getting more ideas. Right now I have no notes or anything, I just have an idea, but when I talk to you guys, I'm coming up with different ideas about why self-expression is important. And when we think about self-expression, the other aspect of self-expression, why it becomes so important, is because most people in our life, they don't express themselves enough. They don't express their thoughts, their feelings, their ideas, what they look forward to in life, what is important to them in life, because they feel like they will be negatively judged, or they feel like their ideas are not important enough, or they feel like they're not good enough, or they feel like, why should they talk about themselves? But when we start expressing who we are, guess what? We're inspiring others to do the same thing. And that becomes it creates that full circle, that we express ourselves and we inspire others to express themselves, and that creates a dialogue, an exchange of ideas. And when there's exchange of ideas and thoughts, you create enlightenment. When we think about human history, the age of, whether that be European age of enlightenment or age of Renaissance, or if you go back to the Islamic or the Eastern age of Renaissance or the Greek Golden Age, all those came into being because people started expressing ideas. Philosophers started getting together, scholars started getting together, people started getting together and started talking about, oh, what is this? How can we think about this differently? How can we create this system? How can we create that system? Oh, how can we make this aspect of our life better? But this is how we create ideas as human beings. I've talked about this several times. We are social beings, and we have to, it's within us to learn new ideas by expressing them, not just by writing them or by thinking about them. And this is why this is so important to me as well. And I had to condition myself to speak in front of you guys, because if you look at my one of the beginning videos, I could barely smile in them because I had that fear within me, and I wasn't used to talking to a camera. But 20 videos later, and the more practice I got, and the more I forced myself to do this, the easier I got for me. And that's how it is with everything in life. In the beginning, everything is challenging. But as we keep doing it over and over and over, guess what? It becomes a lot easier. Whether that be forming a new habit, or expressing yourself, or thinking a certain way, or creating a new talent or skill in your life. We need practice, and we talked about how our brain works. Your neural pathways in your brain, they develop with repetition. The more you repeat something, the faster, the more connections that are formed between two different points. And guess what? The more that happens over and over and over, you develop connections in your brain where you don't have to think about it think about doing what you're think about consciously doing that task. It just happens subconsciously so fast, and it becomes so easy for you. And I can tell you, just with speaking to you guys, it has become so much easier compared to the first video that I was doing. And this was a part of a big challenge for me too, to express myself. Obviously, in the process, I do want to help you guys, and it's a big part of my purpose. I want to help you guys think about your life, but it's also helping me a lot. So that was explicit self-expression, and I want you guys to think about this. Think about how much do you express yourself in your life, and answer that question related to explicit self-expression. And I talked about how I left out the communication part in relationships. One of the most important things in relationships, you will hear this as a cliche, you hear it over and over, that communication is the most important part of relationship. And this is what they're talking about. It's explicit self-expression. You have to be able to express yourself in relationships. If you don't communicate explicitly or clearly to the other person, they can't read your mind. Your spouse can't read your mind. Your brothers, your sisters, your friends, they can't read your mind. They can't tell what you want from them. They can't tell what is important to you. They can't tell what you expect of them. So you have to talk about these things. You have to express what's important to you. And when you do it enough, guess what? They will be able to read your mind, because they can tell what you're thinking by what's important to you over time. But then you have to get into a habit of expressing yourself. And it's healing for yourself as well. And on top of that, you're inspiring others to do the same thing. And that's what creates connections between people. So that was explicit self-expression. Now let's go into creative self-expression and why that is important. And I have another video on self-expression. You can watch that as well. That has very important information related to this, related to self-expression. And I give you guys some techniques on how to express yourself. But creative self-expression is a very crucial aspect of us. And if you look at human beings in terms of archaeology, in terms of our art, our collective art, if you look at historically, even the cave paintings that we have probably 35 to 50,000 years ago that have been found, where people started just drawing on rocks with, I don't know, stones or minerals that had coloring on them, and people started building stuff, not because they had a practical use in their life in a lot of cases, but just because that they wanted to express their idea in some way, whether that be with writing or painting or drawing or sculpting. However they expressed it, they found a way of expressing something within themselves, and that whatever that is, that makes us build things, that makes us write things, that makes us create music, that makes us create art, that aspect of us is the creative aspect of us. And the myth is in today's society that some people are more creative, some people are less creative. All of us are very creative. That's built in within us as human beings, but it's the expression of it that is less or more. The more we express it, the more creatively expressive we are. The less we express it, the less creatively expressive we are. And when you think about why it's so important that we talked about explicit self-expression or clear self-expression, that's important in our day-to-day communication, and it's important about building connections. It's important for our social structure. But the creative is a very internal expression, and that comes from our complex nature, because much of what we want to express is a very emotional based expression, and much of creative expression comes from internally through your emotions. A lot of artists would tell you they didn't really think about what they drew. They brought it from within them. It just came out from within them, and that's their emotional expression. And it's so complex that we can't really, in a lot of cases, talk about it. And this is, for me, is my creative self-expression. If I sit down and start talking to somebody, it would take hours and hours for me to just talk about this, and I'm beginning to find that the more I speak in front of a camera, or the more I write as a writer, the more I'm able to express myself in that way. And that's the key to these things. Many people think that, oh, they're not creative, they don't have a skill to be creative in. First of all, you have to learn to try different things. If you watch kids, they try so many things. They play all kinds of sports, they draw on things, they paint, they play with mud, they play with Legos. It's just natural for us to try different things, and then over time they realize that, oh, there's one or two things that they really love doing, and they get better and better at it because they keep doing it over and over. But at some point, either circumstances or somebody discourages a child or something happens that they stop. And when we think about ourselves, we all have that creative child self within all of us. But at some point, life got too challenging, we got too busy, and we stopped it. And but we can bring that back again. Even if you don't have a skill or creative expression in mind, try different things, and all you have to do is try it once or twice to see if you like it. And don't think about too much about if you're good at things, because skill comes, you getting better with a talent comes with repetition. No matter how talented an artist is, if they don't do something enough, they're not as good as they could be if they practice a lot. Any artist will tell you that, is that they get better with repetition, not because they thought about an idea or they expressed it in their own mind, but they actually did it. They actually started drawing over and over. They actually started painting. They actually started thinking. They actually started writing. They actually started in terms of photography. They had to take a lot of pictures. It's a very long process to get better and better at things, but the journey is even more important than what you get better at. Why? Because we all have a need to express ourselves creatively. And guess what? Many people's purpose becomes their creative expression. Study anybody who you think has achieved something really big in their life, anybody who you think is very big with their ideas or with their skills. Think about historical characters such as, I don't know, Einstein. If you think of Einstein, why did he become so big in what he did? Because that was his creative self-expression. He loved mathematics, he loved science, he loved physics, and somehow from within himself he pulled those ideas and he expressed it to the world. Same with Steve Jobs. He loved technology. That's why he was able to express it and so lovingly express and gave us all this technology that I'm able to express with. Well, it's not really an Apple phone, but still, he was the one who came up with the idea of smartphones. So same with, if you think about singers like Eminem, like that was his creative expression. Even though his life was a wreck in many ways, but once he started tapping into that emotional side of himself, he started expressing his singing through rap, he realized how much he could contribute with his music, and so many people follow him for a reason, because that's his expression. And I'll give you guys a secret. When you watch people who are really good at what they do, singers, artists, celebrities, their acting is their art, their expression. It's not technically because you love watching them. Guess what you're doing subconsciously? You're basically appreciating an aspect of you that you haven't really expressed yet, and through the other person. So whatever that artist is doing, it's reminding you of an aspect of yourself that you have within yourself. And guess what? You can bring that out. It takes a lot of hard work and practice, but you can start. And when you start doing something, you will see how much joy, especially when it comes to creative self-expression, it will bring you. Any artist will tell you this. Any person who has any kind of hobby that they do on the side, they will tell you that it brings them a lot of peace. And there's a reason for that. Because human beings, we have an innate need to express ourselves emotionally in very complex ways. And art is very complex when you think about it, and many of those expressions, we can't express it through normal conversations with people, through just sitting there doing the normal activities throughout the day. That's why we create music. That's why we dance. That's why we sing. That's why we become athletes. That's why we think about ideas as scientists, create solutions as philosophers, or we write as writers. We speak as speakers. These creative self-expressions, it's another avenue to express your complexity that you have as a human being, as an individual, and it becomes very important for us to do this. And the more you do it, the more you will realize how important it is for you. So it's a very experience-based idea too. So go ahead and answer the questions. Think about it in terms of explicit self-expression for this first question and creative self-expression for the second question. So let me see if I remember the questions. The first question was, do you express who you are, what is important to you, and what you look forward to in life on a consistent basis with your loved ones? Did I make it too complicated? Do you express who you are, what is important to you, and what you look forward to in life to the people around you on a consistent basis? The answer is yes. Why? Why do you do that? And how do you do that? And if the answer is no, why don't you? And how do you think you can express yourself more? And then the second question was, do you have any creative talent or creative way of expressing yourself? If yes, why do you do that? And how do you do that? And if no, why not? Why don't you do that? Watch the video and think about these ideas. It will have a great effect on your life, and when you actually start doing these things, it'll completely change the way you look at life, and you will inspire others to be like that as well. So once again, I enjoyed a lot how to do this video, and this is my self-expression. I look forward to doing the future videos for you guys, and make sure you comment or post your answers in the comment section on the original post on my page. And make sure you like and share the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a great day. If you loved or even liked the video or this episode, you can do two things right now. One, you can click on the subscribe tab right here on the screen or in the info area if you can't click on the screen. So you're up to date on all my free training, on all the free training that I send on my YouTube channel on a regular basis. And two, you can click on the success indicator tab on the screen or in the info section, so you can get the training, the thorough training that I created for you, that has 10 factors that will determine whether or not you will be successful at anything that you do or want to do. And it will also help you create more success at anything that you want to do in life. So, and this will also get you subscribed to my newsletter, so I can send you more of these free training on a regular basis that I don't post on my YouTube channel. So make sure you click on those two buttons or tabs, and make sure you like and share this video. Make sure you post your comments in the comment section below, so we can get more people involved in our community right here. Thank you very much. Have a great day.